All right. Well, hello and welcome. I'm Brooks Rayford, CEO of NC Tech, and welcome to this edition of NC Tech Chats, where I have brief discussions with interesting people doing interesting things. NC Tech is a statewide organization with about 600 member companies, organizations, and institutions. And while our membership is concentrated in larger metro areas, as you might expect, we have quite a few member companies in places you might not expect, like TransImpact, which is based on Emerald Isle. Today, I'm pleased to have as our guest TransImpact's CEO, Berkley Stafford. I want to thank you, Berkley, for taking the time to join us. And we're going to spend the next 15 minutes finding out a bit about TransImpact and about you.
Hey, thanks for having us, Brooks.
Appreciate you making the time. Let's start off with the basics. Tell us about what TransImpact does and what your customer profile looks like.
It's perfect timing for this question. We've kind of crystallized quite a bit of information, the addressable market, the audience that we speak to each and every day. But if I had to condense what we do, it's centralized around three products. The primary product that has built what was legacy Transportation Impact, and we rebranded into TransImpact, and talk a little bit about that. Is parcel. And there's several different products that we offer under our parcel solutions portfolio, but the main driver, the big revenue and EBITDA contribution comes from parcel negotiation. So me and several of my colleagues, including the former co-founders, we all came from UPS. And so we had a very strong background in parcel. And taking a lot of that expertise and over the course of the last 14 years, downloading that and ingesting it into technology platforms, that has accelerated our growth. So parcel is one pillar in our primary, and that's really where our brand equity has been built. Secondly, though, and I know that we will get into this, we have made a few acquisitions that are very complementary, especially in today's supply chain I'll say complex environment, but it's a train wreck out there in some areas of the supply chain. So the technologies that we've bought really cater towards allowing a client to dynamically make good decisions very rapidly with great intelligence. The second pillar is we have a business intelligence platform that's centralized around four modules: finance, supply chain, distribution, and manufacturing. And very simply put, Brooks, that business intelligence will go into a company, and with very, very limited integration, I mean, we're talking a few weeks, not months, not years, it can marry up disparate systems, ERPs, TMSs, WMSs, parcel data, logistics data, and centralize it into one focal point to where it's designed to bring true isolated decisions or identify root causes of potential problems or problems that have recently occurred in 3 to 5 clicks. In 3 to 5 clicks, you got an answer. Lastly, the third pillar is our most recent acquisition, and it's a platform that specializes in demand planning and inventory optimization. So you can imagine in the supply chain world today, between an explosion in e-commerce and just a wild ride with parcel, and now, recessionary discussions happening right now, and the excess inventory to where the point people are saying, don't return it, just keep it. Inventory is a nightmare, and we've got technology that has and incorporates over 250 algorithms that allow you to model 250 types of scenarios. So it is just a great addition to our primary offering in parcel, those two additionals in ancillary products.
So on the parcel front, can you clarify, as I understand it, you all don't do direct negotiations, but you aid your client in doing that?
Yeah, and that's been a really big part of our success. No one likes an intermediary. There's partnerships, and our primary negotiation takes place on behalf of the client with UPS and FedEx. And UPS and FedEx are really good companies. They provide an outstanding service for our clients, and there's no need for us to get into that mix. That's not what we want to do. We're not trying to dictate supply chain decisions from a parcel perspective when it comes to negotiating with a carrier. Our job is to simply say, relative to the DNA of your package characteristics, what's the type of discount based on spend and those characteristics that you should be receiving? And so we coach the client in all of those scenarios, a myriad of different variety of negotiation patterns to lead them down the path of improving their margins in a very, very quick way. But it's important to note too, Brooks, that no one would be happy in this situation if it's a loser. The carriers have to make money too, and they should. And so understanding how to take that, let's just call it margin, to the brink of profitability and good savings for our client, that's where we're masterful.
And I imagine there's a sweet spot there of the amount of spend a company has in shipping probably needs to be at a certain threshold or higher to make it worth working with you, or you can be particularly effective with them. What's the profile look like for your clients?
On negotiation, so we've got several products within the parcel
Sure.
solutions portfolio, but with the negotiations, our sweet spot where we really can make a very quick impact is if you're spending 200,000 to 5 million in net spend with the carriers. I mean, it's fairly easy for us. It's quick and it's a hard, tangible financial savings to the client. But we negotiate for clients that spend $75 million with UPS and FedEx. And it's all relative. How good do they negotiate? What's the dynamic of their footprint? Are they growing organically? Is it a profitable package for the carriers to deliver? All of these variables take a really strong characteristic into the negotiation itself. So those are our upper limits. Well, I'll call it, let's say 50 to 60 million, to where we think it'll be impactful for the client. We're not scraping the margins of the carriers. We're not damaging relationships. We take all that into consideration, but I'd say that. And then we've got several SaaS-based technology products in parcel, mainly driven towards data and business intelligence. And the net spend on those is well above what I just described in negotiation. I mean, we've $100 million, $200 million. It's just, what the client has today as far as the ability to decipher information relative to how our product can improve or provide additional insight.
You touched on returns and people not even returning things anymore because companies don't want the inventory back. I assume the whole reverse logistics part of shipping is part and parcel, pardon the pun, of what your services provide too. The company's having to pay for the return shipping if somebody does send a return. Has that been majorly impacted other than companies just saying don't send it back?
It's super critical. So that's one leg. At the end of the day, imagine a 2-year explosion of parcel where you're busting the infrastructure of UPS and FedEx, or taking it to just a highly stretched out structure to where, costing for them, the cost to serve changes dramatically for our carrier in that regard. But we serve the client, both the carriers and our company. And the client's needs are, I hear you, I've got an explosion in e-commerce growth. I'm giving it to you, and you're telling me I got limited capacity. That's driven a lot of clients to look elsewhere where, 20 years ago, there weren't many options. Today, there's a lot of regional and last mile carriers and couriers that give clients security and capacity, and perhaps could reduce cost or at least be a cost neutral situation. So what that's kind of made us do, it's accelerated our ingenuity. Now we've got technology, and we've always had the supply chain engineers. We've always had parcel expertise, but now we've got technology coupled with that, and we've got a solution called managed parcel. So we can actually tell clients what percentage of their parcel spend they need to put within whatever carrier to achieve Number one, capacity. Number two, fastest time in transit, and obviously lowest cost per package. So our managed parcel solution will allow clients to do that. And kind of bridging into your question, return logistics is making, or inventory complexities are making clients question, do I have the right 3PL location? Do I have the right returns processes? If I don't, how can managed parcel help me alleviate some of my pain? So managed parcel is starting to be a big driver for us in that regard.
Gotcha. Well, shifting gears a little bit, I touched on this when I began about the geographic spread of our members throughout North Carolina, and you're based in Emerald Isle. What are the advantages and disadvantages of being based at the coast? And on a related note, maybe you can weave in some commentary about your approach to work from anywhere or hybrid work.
Well, I'm looking out the window right now, Brooks, and the disadvantage today is there's a tropical storm going on. So that's a disadvantage, but that's a very short window within a calendar year. Well, I'm being facetious. We're not significantly impacted by what's happening with Ian. But to answer the question, when the co-founders, the original owners, before we sold to our good partners, the Jordan Company, when they started this company back in 2008, we knew that Emerald Isle and Carteret County had zero clients that we could pursue and offer our services to. So we knew we were going to have to be on planes and cars and spend a lot of our time on the road building the business. So the logic was, well, if we got to do that, let's come back to somewhere we enjoy living. That's really why we've landed in Emerald Isle. But again, to this day, we don't have any clients in this area, but that's okay. I mean, we're nationwide. We've got global clients all over the planet, and that's fine. So we put a lot of our sales teams, our operational infrastructure can work from anywhere. We've had a lot of redundancy due to hurricane territory put into our operational structure. But we want the salespeople in front of the client, and they can live anywhere, and we love them being in the metro areas. So that's kind of why we ended up in Emerald Isle. We built one heck of a culture within TransImpact. We love our community. So those two things have kept us grounded. And the hybrid work environment that we have today, we, much like everybody, you read any article that you can pull off the internet. Nobody had a golden arrow during the COVID impact and what was the right decision. And you're all trying to make a good decision based on your individual cultures. I'm sure everybody's culture has been impacted negatively to some degree with COVID. We're remote, we're detached, but they're the hybrid environment where we'll work 3 days in the office and 2 days remote work from home. That's the best recipe that we've found. We've got a mix of employees, Brooks, that say, you know what, I can't stand working from home. I need the interaction. I love the dialogue. I love the ad hoc meetings. I love the creativity that we wouldn't get from a virtual environment because we're not making as many calls as we would have if we stepped in somebody's office. Others are saying, look, I love the freedom of working at home. Very efficient because nobody's disturbing me. So we got a lot of feedback from our employees with that. In short, we landed on both so that we could try and please the entire company and preserve our culture, and it's working.
That's great to hear. Let's put our crystal ball together here and tell me what you think the company looks like in the next few years. As you've described what your areas of focus, what your offerings are, what does TransImpact look like in 3 to 5 years?
I can tell you the journey that we've been on and how that's going to catapult us to where we're going to go. The journey that we started out with years ago, we had a lot of expertise up here and a little bit of technology when we started, and now it's the exact opposite. We've got an immense amount of technology and we've got the equivalent amount of expertise. In fact, we've got quite a bit more. So we have morphed over the last 14 years into a true technology company. Everything within our company that serves every product and ultimately every client is pushed out by technology. Now we've got certainly parcel experts that are assisting with what how to read that output of the technology.
Right.
But where we're headed, between our demand planning platform, our business intelligence platform, and Parcel, we're looking at a logistics spend management platform into the future. We feel that we've got a strong capability to apply technology with good decisions that ultimately, if we just cut to the simplest thread of why we're in business, is to improve margin. If I had to summarize, Brooks, what our three technologies do in one sentence, it's provide intelligence that impacts margin very quickly. So where we're headed is to apply the ether and pour the gas on that mantra, so that 3 to 4 years from now, we've got a technology hub that is looking at your primarily would be parcel spend, but your inventory optimization and also your disparate systems that you can't get the data you need in a quick fashion. That's the company that will be in the future.
Great. My last question is more about you. Tell us a little bit about you, what your pathway was that brought you to TransImpact.
Oh, man. I started with UPS my junior year in college as a peak season Christmas help, on the package car, helping the driver. I was fortunate enough to get called on to work permanently part-time. And, back when I started at UPS, it's unheard of to come off the street and become a driver. It was unheard of to come off the street and be full-time. Most UPSers back in the day worked your way up, and it always started in operations as a part-timer. So I spent 5 years in operational capacities, went into sales capacities, worked on some special assignments, helped build some products and sell those products. And then I had a great opportunity to expand my supply chain expertise with a company called Envirotainer, which has exploded in growth. And they are a temperature managed supply chain company. They produce containers that primarily cater towards protecting the temperatures of some of the largest pharmaceutical companies' products in the world. So I left UPS after 15 years, went to work with Envirotainer, got a lot of international experience. It was a great company to work for from that perspective. And then I left UPS in 2007, and my mentor that started Transportation Impact in 2008, he left a year after I did.
Okay.
And as he continued to grow the business, it was just him and his partner. And we'd pass each other in the Charlotte airport. I was with Envirotainer, he was building this business. We'd shake hands, and the third or fourth time we'd pass each other in the Charlotte airport, he said, "Hey man, I'm getting to a point I can't handle it anymore. Can you come over and help me build it?" And I'm like, I got a good gig. I love the company I'm working for. And I still have a tremendous amount of respect for this individual. Strong impact in my life, both at UPS and in my time here at TransImpact. He finally called me up and said, "Look, just come talk to me. I don't care if you say no, just come talk to me." And I knew what that meant. I knew the moment I stepped in the office, it was over, because that's how much respect I had for him. And sure enough, I left Envirotainer in 2013, been here ever since. And it's been a roller coaster, explosive rocket ship ride of great growth, great people, great culture.
That's awesome. And I know a number of your teammates, and certainly hear that from them. So that's a testament to what you built. So thank you for that. Well, Berkley, I just want to thank you for taking time to be with us today. Congratulations on the growth and trajectory of TransImpact. For our viewers, you can find previous editions of NC Tech Chats and other programming on our YouTube channel, which you can find at our website, nctech.org. Thanks for joining us.